The bright stars looked like tiny dots against the black canvas of space. Commander Ethan Wright sat in his chair on the bridge of the U.S. frontier. He rubbed his tired eyes and took a sip of his coffee. "Commander, we're getting an urgent message from Earth," said Communications Officer Diane Peters. Her voice broke the quiet hum of the ship's systems. Wright straightened in his chair. "Put it through to my screen." The face of Admiral Frank Lawson appeared. His expression was serious. "Commander Wright, we have a situation. Our long-range sensors picked up something unusual near the Cygnus arm." "What kind of unusual, sir?" Wright asked. "A ship. A big one. It's just sitting there, not moving. No energy readings we can make sense of. It's about 3 light years from your position, and you're the closest vessel we have. I need you to check it out." Wright nodded. "Any signs of life aboard?" "None that we can detect. But this is strange, Ethan. The ship doesn't match any known designs, ours or alien. Be careful." "Understood, sir. We'll set course immediately." After the call ended, Wright turned to his bridge crew. "Lieutenant Miller, plot a course to these coordinates. Dr. Bishop, I want you ready if we need to make contact with anyone. Lieutenant Commander Russell, prepare a boarding team." Grace Miller, the ship's tactical specialist, looked up from her console. "Course plotted, sir. We should arrive in about 14 hours at maximum speed." "Good. Let's go see what's out there." The U.S. frontier changed direction, its engines glowing blue as it accelerated toward the unknown vessel. During the journey, Dr. Olivia Carter, the science officer, tried to gather any information she could about the mystery ship. "It's big, Commander. Really big," she said, standing next to Wright as they looked at the sensor readings. "About 3 times the size of our largest battleships. But what's odd is that it's just waiting. No movement at all." Wright frowned. "Could it be abandoned?" "Possibly. Or dormant. We won't know until we get closer." Hours later, the frontier slowed as it approached the coordinates. The crew grew quiet as the mystery ship came into view on the main screen. "My God," whispered engineer Kyle Bennett. The vessel was massive. Its dark hull was shaped like an arrowhead, with what looked like weapon ports along its sides. It had no running lights, no visible engines glowing. It simply floated in the emptiness of space. "Any response to our hails?" Wright asked. Communications Officer Peters shook her head. "Nothing, sir. I've tried all frequencies." "Sir," Miller said suddenly, her voice tense, "I'm seeing something on the hull. Can we get a closer view?" The screen zoomed in on a section of the mysterious ship's side. There, barely visible against the dark metal, were faded markings. "Is that?" Wright leaned forward in his chair. "English," confirmed Dr. Aaron Bishop, the xenolinguist. "Those are English letters." The bridge fell silent as the implications sank in. "That's impossible," Russell said finally. "No human ship has ever come out this far, let alone one that size." Wright stood up, his decision made. "Prepare a boarding party. Miller, Russell, Bishop, Carter, you're with me. Dr. Sawyer, you have the bridge." As they suited up in the airlock, Lieutenant Grace Miller checked her weapon. "Do you think it's safe, sir?" Wright secured his helmet. "Probably not. But those are human markings on an unknown ship in uncharted space. We need answers." The boarding party launched from the frontier in a small shuttle. As they approached the silent giant, Wright couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. "Look for an entry point," he ordered the pilot. They found an airlock on the underside of the ship. To everyone's surprise, it opened as they approached, as if inviting them in. "Well," Wright said, "looks like someone's expecting us." The airlock closed behind Wright and his team with a soft hiss. Their helmet lights cut through the darkness inside the mysterious ship. The air was breathable, according to their sensors, but they kept their helmets on as a precaution. "No signs of recent life," said Dr. Carter, checking her scanner. "But the ship still has power. Life support systems are running." They moved through a narrow corridor. Their boots made hollow sounds on the metal floor. The walls were bare and gray. Everything looked clean, as if someone had just cleaned the ship. "These markings," Dr. Bishop said, pointing his light at the wall. "They're definitely English. Look, Deck 3, Section A." Lieutenant Miller ran her hand along the wall. "This metal. I've never seen anything like it. It's not steel or any alloy I recognize." They reached a large door at the end of the corridor. It slid open as they approached. The room beyond was dark until they stepped inside. Then lights flickered on automatically. "It's a bridge," Wright said. The room was filled with control panels and screens, all dark. A large window at the front showed the stars beyond. Wright approached what looked like the main control panel. As he got closer, the screens suddenly lit up. A soft female voice spoke from nowhere. "Authorized personnel detected. Welcome back." The team froze. "It thinks we belong here," Russell whispered. "Ship status report," Wright said cautiously. The voice responded immediately. "The Dominion is operating at 78% capacity. Main weapon systems offline. Time displacement drive damage. Awaiting repair orders." Time displacement. Dr. Carter looked at Wright with wide eyes. Wright turned to a screen that had come to life. It showed information about the ship. "Look at this. According to this log, this ship, the Dominion, was launched in 2187. "That's impossible," Miller said. "It's only 2112 now. That's 75 years in the future." Bishop moved to another screen. "Sir, I'm seeing mission parameters here. This ship was sent back in time on purpose." The team gathered around him. The screen displayed a mission brief. As they read, their faces grew pale. "This can't be right," Russell said. "It says Earth was at war with something called the Hegemony, a coalition of alien species. We were losing. The ship was sent back in time as a last resort." Carter read. "To provide earlier humans with advanced technology. To ensure human dominance before first contact even happens." Wright touched the screen, scrolling through more information. It wasn't supposed to arrive this early, or this far from Earth. There was a malfunction in the temporal drive. A new screen lit up, showing an image of a ship. It looked like the U.S. frontier. "Scanning complete," the ship's voice announced. "Earth vessel identified. Technology level. Primitive. Threat assessment. None." Miller looked uncomfortable. Did it just call us primitive? Wright ignored her comment. "Computer, show me the weapons systems of this vessel." The screens changed to display schematics. The team stared in awe. The Dominion carried weapons they could barely understand. Planet-destroying missiles, energy beams that could cut through any known material. Defense shields nothing could penetrate. "This is what future humans built," Carter whispered. "A ship designed for total war." Wright's communicator beeped. It was the Frontier calling. "Commander, we're picking up 3 vessels approaching fast," said Dr. Sawyer's voice. "They're not responding to hails." Wright looked at his team. "We need to get back to the frontier." As they turned to leave, all the screens on the bridge suddenly flashed red. "Warning," said the ship's voice. "Hostile forces detected. Hegemony scout vessels identified. Defense protocols initiating." Red lights flashed across the bridge of the Dominion. Wright and his team looked at each other with alarm. "We need to get back to the frontier now," Wright said, already moving toward the exit. Dr. Carter stayed by the main console. "Wait, we need to understand more about this ship, about what happens in the future." Wright paused. "We don't have time." "Actually, we might," Carter replied, her fingers moving quickly over the controls. "If this ship has the technology I think it does, we could use it to help us." The ship's AI spoke again. 3 Hegemony vessels approaching. Estimated time to weapons range, 8 minutes. Wright made a quick decision. "Russell, Miller, get back to the frontier. Tell them to keep their distance but stay close. Bishop, you and I will stay here with Carter. 5 minutes only. Russell and Miller nodded and rushed back toward the airlock, while the others turned to the ship's computer system. Computer, show us the database on the hegemony, Wright ordered. The screens filled with information. Images of alien ships, strange creatures with 6 limbs, and dark, scaled skin. Maps of star systems far beyond human exploration. The hegemony, Bishop read aloud. A coalition of 7 alien species united for expansion and resource acquisition. First contact with humans occurs in 2129. That's only 17 years from now, Wright said quietly. Carter was accessing a different part of the system. According to this, the war lasts for decades. Earth loses colony after colony. By 2187, when this ship was launched back in time, only Earth itself remained under human control. The Dominion was a last-ditch effort to change history. The screen suddenly shifted to show the approaching ships. They were sleek, with curved hulls that glowed faintly blue. Those don't match the hegemony ships in the database, Bishop noted, looking confused. Computer, explain the discrepancy, Wright commanded. Unknown vessels have technological signatures matching early hegemony development. Assessment. These are precursor vessels to known hegemony fleet. Wright's face paled. They're not from our time either. They're from the future too, just not as far ahead as the Dominion. They must have followed the temporal wake, Carter said, eyes wide. They detected the Dominion's jump and sent ships back to intercept it. The ship's AI interrupted. Incoming transmission from lead vessel. Accept, Wright said after a moment's hesitation. A face appeared on the main screen. It was humanoid but clearly alien. Its skin was pale green with faint scale patterns. Its eyes were large and entirely black. Human vessel, the alien said in perfect English. I am Ambassador Krell of the Galactic Concordat. The weapon you have discovered is dangerous to all life in this sector. Surrender it immediately. Wright glanced at Bishop, who shook his head slightly. The name Galactic Concordat wasn't in the Dominion's database. This is Commander Ethan Wright of Earth's Unified Space Command. We're on an exploration mission. We just discovered this vessel ourselves. Krell's expression didn't change. You have 10 minutes to evacuate that ship and prepare it for our boarding party. If you refuse, we will be forced to destroy both your vessels. The technology on that ship cannot be allowed to exist in this time period. The transmission ended abruptly. He's lying, Carter said, still scrolling through the Dominion's database. Look at this. She pointed to an image of an alien that looked exactly like Krell, but the label below it read, Seraph species, founding member of the hegemony, known for infiltration and diplomatic deception prior to military action. Wright's communicator beeped. It was Russell from the frontier. Commander, those ships are moving into attack positions. What are your orders? Wright looked at the weapons control panel of the Dominion. I think, he said slowly, it's time we learned how this ship works. Wright stood in front of the weapons console on the Dominion's bridge. The screen showed complicated controls that he didn't understand. Carter, can you figure this out? He asked. Dr. Carter moved to the console, studying it carefully. I think so. The system seems designed to be used easily in emergencies. She pressed a series of buttons. A new screen appeared, showing a targeting system. The 3 alien ships were highlighted in red. Computer, activate defense systems only, Wright ordered. No offensive weapons yet. Defense systems online, the ship's eye replied. A low hum filled the bridge as energy shields powered up around the Dominion. Wright's communicator beeped again. Commander, this is Russell. The alien ships are charging weapons. The Frontier can't withstand that kind of firepower. Tell the Frontier to pull back to a safe distance, Wright replied. We'll handle this from the Dominion. Bishop looked worried. Commander, are you sure about this? We barely understand this ship. Wright didn't answer immediately. He was looking at another screen that had activated. It showed detailed schematics of weapon systems that made his blood run cold. planet-killing missiles, biological weapons designed to target specific alien DNA, devices that could make stars go supernova. The Dominion wasn't just a warship. It was built to end civilizations. "This is wrong," Wright said quietly. "Humanity would never build weapons like these unless we were facing extinction." Carter finished his sentence. She had found another part of the database. According to these records, the hegemony destroyed over 15 human colonies. Billions dead. Earth was under siege. A sudden flash of light caught their attention. On the main screen, they saw one of the alien ships fire on the frontier. The human ship's shields flared but held. "They're attacking an unarmed exploration vessel," Wright said, anger rising in his voice. "Computer, give me a communications link to all ships." "Channel open," the AI responded. "This is Commander Wright to all vessels. Cease fire immediately. We can resolve this peacefully." Ambassador Krell's face appeared on screen again. "You were warned, human. The weapons on that ship cannot be allowed to exist in this time period. We know what your kind will do with them." "We have no intention of using these weapons," Wright argued. "We only just discovered this ship." Krell's expression hardened. "Your species cannot be trusted with such power. Humanity is aggressive, expansionist. You would use this technology to dominate all other life in the galaxy. We have seen it happen." The alien ships fired again, this time at the Dominion. The shields absorbed the impact, but the bridge shook slightly. "Shield strength at 92%, the AI announced. "Minimal damage." Dr. Carter looked up from her console. "Commander, I found something important. These aliens aren't just trying to stop us from getting the Dominion's weapons. They want the time travel technology. With it, they could change history themselves." Wright's mind raced. The situation was growing more complex by the minute. If what Carter said was true, then giving up the Dominion might be just as dangerous as using its weapons. His communicator beeped urgently. "Commander." It was Miller's voice, sounding panicked. "The Frontier's shields are failing. 2 more hits and we're done for." Wright made his decision. "Computer, target the lead alien vessel's weapon systems only. Disable, don't destroy." "Target locked," the AI replied. Wright looked at Carter and Bishop. Their faces showed the weight of the moment. Whatever happened next would change everything. "Fire," Wright ordered. A beam of blue energy shot from the Dominion, striking Krell's ship with perfect precision. The alien vessel's weapons went dark. "Warning," the ship's AI announced. "All 3 hegemony vessels are powering emergency jump drives. Temporal signature detected." They watched as the alien ships disappeared in flashes of light. "They're retreating," Bishop said with relief. "No," Wright replied grimly. "They're going for reinforcements." "We don't have much time," Wright said, turning to Carter and Bishop. "We need to get the Frontier's crew onto the Dominion. This ship has better defenses." Carter was already working at one of the control panels. "I can create a docking link between the ships. It'll be faster than using shuttles." Wright nodded and spoke into his communicator. "Russell, prepare the crew for emergency transfer to the Dominion. Bring essential supplies only." "Yes, sir," Russell replied. "What about the Frontier?" Wright paused, looking around at the advanced technology of the Dominion. "We can't let it fall into enemy hands. Once everyone is safe, set the self-destruct." While Carter worked on creating a secure link between the ships, Bishop discovered more information in the Dominion's database. "Commander, you need to see this," he called. The Dominion wasn't the only ship sent back in time. There were supposed to be 5 vessels, all with different missions, but something went wrong. Wright joined him at the console. "What kind of missions?" "This one." The Dominion carried weapons technology. The others had different purposes: agriculture and food production, medical technology, energy sources, and communication systems. Bishop pointed to a map on the screen. They were all meant to arrive near Earth in 2115, just before our first contact with alien life. But the time jump failed. The ships were scattered across both space and time. A new alert sounded. The ship's eye spoke. Docking procedure complete. Frontier crew transferring to Dominion. Carter looked up from her work. Once everyone's aboard, I think I can activate the Dominion's jump drive. It's damaged, but still functional. We could reach Earth in hours instead of months. Do it, Wright said. But first, we need to understand what we're bringing home. If the aliens were willing to attack us to prevent humans from getting this technology, we need to know why. The bridge doors opened, and Russell entered with Miller and several crew members from the Frontier. Engineers, medical staff, and navigation officers filed in, looking around in awe at the advanced ship. The rest of the crew is on board, Russell reported. The Frontier is set to self-destruct in 5 minutes. Wright nodded. Good work. Miller, take some of our security team and search the ship. I want to know exactly what we're dealing with. As the crew settled in, Dr. Carter continued studying the ship's systems. Commander, I found something disturbing. The weapons on this ship, they're designed to target specific alien DNA. The biological weapons could wipe out entire species without harming humans. Wright frowned. That's against everything we stand for. No wonder the aliens want to stop us from getting this technology. Bishop joined the conversation. But according to the logs, humanity only created these weapons after losing billions of lives. It was a last resort. Through the main viewport, they watched as the Frontier exploded in a ball of fire and debris. It was a somber moment, the destruction of their ship marking a point of no return. Sir, Carter said, breaking the silence, I've managed to access more of the ship's mission logs. The Dominion wasn't just sent back to give us technology. It was meant to warn us about the first contact. Warn us about what? Wright asked. The logs say that when humans first met the hegemony in 2129, we believe they came in peace. We shared our technology, our resources, our colony locations. It was all a trick. They studied us for years before attacking. Wright's communicator beeped with an urgent message from the engineering section. Commander, said Engineer Bennett, his voice tense. The aliens did something to our systems before they left. The Dominion's jump drive is charging automatically. We're about to make a time jump, and I can't stop it. Carter's eyes widened as she looked at her console. He's right. The drive is activating. We have less than 2 minutes before jump. Wright looked around at his crew. Everyone, secure yourselves for jump. We don't know where or when we're going to end up. A bright flash of lights surrounded the Dominion. Everyone on the bridge held tight to their stations as the ship shook violently. The stars outside the viewport stretched into lines and then disappeared completely. For a moment, there was nothing but darkness and the sound of the ship's systems straining under pressure. Then, with a final jolt, the Dominion reappeared in normal space. The violent shaking stopped, but warning alarms continued to sound throughout the ship. Damage report, Wright called out, steadying himself against a console. Engineer Bennett's voice came through the communication system. Multiple systems damaged. Sir, life support is stable, but weapons are offline. Navigation is limited. Where are we? Wright asked, looking at the unfamiliar star pattern outside. Carter worked quickly at her station. According to the star charts, we're in the Sol system, near Jupiter. We're home, Russell asked, surprised. Yes, but Carter's voice trailed off as she stared at her screen. What is it? Wright pressed. According to the ship's chronometer, we've jumped forward in time. It's 3 months later than when we left. The crew exchanged worried looks. 3 months was a long time to be missing. Try to contact Earth, Wright ordered. Communications Officer Peters worked at her station. I'm picking up a lot of chatter, sir. Earth transmissions, but... She paused, listening carefully. Sir, they're talking about alien visitors. Representatives from something called the Galactic Concordat are on Earth right now. Concordat. That's what Krell called his group, Bishop said. "The same aliens who attacked us." Wright's face darkened. "They used the time between our disappearance and now to reach Earth first." Put the Earth news feed on the main screen. The screen lit up with images from Earth. Alien ships hovering over major cities. Ceremonies with human leaders welcoming the alien visitors. And in the center of it all, Ambassador Krell, shaking hands with the Secretary General of Earth's United Nations. "They're presenting themselves as peaceful visitors," Miller said with disgust. Bishop was reading the news crawl at the bottom of the screen. "It says here that the aliens have warned Earth about human temporal aggression. They're claiming that humans in the future will become violent expansionists who threaten galactic peace. They're using us as the villains," Wright realized. "The Dominion is proof that humans are dangerous." Carter looked up from her console. "Sir, the Frontier was reported lost with all hands. We're all officially dead." Wright thought for a moment. "That might work to our advantage. If the aliens think we're dead, they won't be looking for us." "But how do we warn Earth?" Russell asked. "If we just show up with this ship, we'll confirm everything the aliens have said about us. We need allies," Wright decided. "Someone on Earth who will listen to our side of the story." Miller was reviewing Earth's military channels. "Sir, I think I found someone. Admiral Nicole Reeves. She's been publicly skeptical about the aliens. She's questioning why they arrived so suddenly and with so many ships." "Good," Wright nodded. "Carter, can you establish a secure channel to Admiral Reeves without the aliens detecting it?" "I think so," Carter replied. "The Dominion has communication technology far beyond what the aliens would expect us to have." As Carter worked, Bennett arrived on the bridge. "Sir, I've been checking more of the ship. You need to see what I found." He led Wright to a secure room deep in the Dominion. Inside were dozens of data crystals, each labeled with different technological advancements. "These contain all the knowledge from the future," Bennett explained. "Not just weapons, but medicine, clean energy, agriculture techniques that could end hunger. Everything humanity learned in the next 75 years. Wright picked up one of the crystals. "This is what the aliens really fear. Not just that we might defend ourselves, but that we might actually thrive." He returned to the bridge with renewed determination. "Carter, is that channel ready? We need to contact Admiral Reeves now. We're going to need her help for what comes next." "Channel secure and ready, sir," Carter replied. Wright took a deep breath. "This is Commander Ethan Wright of the U.S. Frontier. Admiral Reeves, we need your help. Earth is in danger, but not from us." Admiral Nicole Reeves sat alone in her office on the lunar base. The message from Commander Wright played again on her screen. Her face showed both shock and relief. "I thought you were dead," she said when the recording ended. "Everyone did." "We nearly were," Wright replied through the secure channel. "But we need your help now. The aliens aren't what they claim to be." Reeves nodded. "I suspected as much. They arrived too conveniently after your disappearance, and they brought too many ships for a peaceful mission." Wright explained everything: the Dominion, the future war, and the hegemony's deception. "I believe you," Reeves said when he finished. "But most of Earth's leaders don't. The aliens have offered medical technology, clean energy. People are excited. It's a trap," Wright warned, "just like in the future timeline. They study us, learn our weaknesses, then attack." Reeves leaned forward. "I can help you, but you can't bring that warship to Earth. It would cause panic and seem to confirm the aliens' warnings." "We need to expose them somehow," Wright said. "Show Earth who they really are." "I have an idea," Reeves replied. "But it's risky." 2 days later, a small shuttle left the Dominion. Wright, Carter, and Bishop were on board, along with a few data crystals carefully selected from the ship's vault. Russell remained behind with most of the crew to guard the Dominion, hidden in Jupiter's shadow. The shuttle docked at a private lunar facility under Reeves' command. The Admiral met them personally, her face grim. "The situation has gotten worse," she told them as they walked through empty corridors. The aliens have convinced the United Nations to sign a protection treaty. They're positioning their ships throughout our solar system for our defense. They're preparing for a takeover, Wright said. Reeves nodded. I've gathered a few trusted officials who share my concerns. They're waiting to hear your story. In a secure conference room, Wright and his team met with 5 high-ranking officers from Earth's different space forces. They showed evidence from the Dominion. Star charts marking human colonies that would be destroyed, records of the war, and images of devastated Earth cities. This is what will happen if we trust them, Wright concluded. But what can we do? Asked General Paul Harris of the North American Space Defense. Their ships are more advanced than ours. Dr. Carter stepped forward. Not all of them. We've analyzed their fleet using the Dominion sensors. Most of their ships are empty. Just shells to make their forces look larger. They only have 3 actual warships. And we have the Dominion, Wright added. Even damage, it's more powerful than anything they have. You want to start a war? Harris asked, alarmed. No, Wright said firmly. We want to prevent one. We need to expose their deception without firing a shot. Bishop pulled out a data crystal. This contains defensive shield technology that can protect Earth ships and bases. Not weapons, just protection. If we upgrade our defenses, we can show strength without aggression. Admiral Reeves looked at the crystal. If we suddenly deploy advanced technology, they'll know something is wrong. That's part of the plan, Wright explained. We want them to react. When they do, we'll be ready. As the meeting continued, an alarm suddenly sounded. A lieutenant burst into the room. Admiral, the alien flagship is approaching the moon. Ambassador Krell is demanding to speak with you immediately. He says he has detected unauthorized communications. Reeves looked at Wright. They must have traced our channel. Or they have a spy in Earth's government, Bishop suggested. Either way, Wright said, our timeline just got a lot shorter. Reeves made a quick decision. Get to your shuttle. Return to the Dominion and move it into position near Mars. That's where we'll make our stand. As Wright and his team hurried to their shuttle, he looked back at the Admiral. What about you? Reeves straightened her uniform. I'm going to have a chat with Ambassador Krell. I'll buy you the time you need. The shuttle launched just as the alien flagship entered lunar orbit, its weapons clearly visible and ready. The red planet Mars hung in space like a small copper coin. Around it, ships gathered in 2 groups. On one side, Earth's hastily assembled fleet of 30 vessels, each now equipped with shield technology from the future. On the other side, Ambassador Krell's forces, 15 ships, including the 3 actual warships detected by the Dominion sensors. Hidden behind Mars' largest moon, Phobos, the Dominion waited. Inside, Wright and his crew made final preparations. All systems are at 70% capacity, Engineer Bennett reported. Weapons are limited but functional. Shields are at full strength. Wright nodded. Let's hope we don't need to use the weapons. On the main screen, they watched as Admiral Reeves' flagship moved forward, opening a communication channel to both the Earth fleet and Krell's ships. The broadcast went out across the solar system, with billions of people on Earth watching. Ambassador Krell, Reeves began, her voice steady. You came to Earth claiming to warn us about human aggression from the future. You said you wanted peace, yet your ships have taken positions around all our major colonies and stations. Krell's face appeared on a split screen. These are defensive positions only, Admiral. For your protection. Protection from what? Reeves questioned. Your ships arrived suspiciously soon after the U.S. frontier disappeared. Did you have something to do with that? Krell's expression didn't change. The loss of your ship was unfortunate, but unrelated to our arrival. Dr. Carter monitored the broadcast from the Dominion. He's good at lying, she said quietly. Reeves continued. We've detected that most of your fleet consists of empty ships, just shells with minimal systems. Why the deception? For the first time, Krell looked uncomfortable. I don't know what you mean. I think you do, Reeves replied. "You're not here as friends. You're the advance force of the hegemony. You're here to study us before you attack." Krell's face hardened. "These are serious accusations. Admiral, do you have evidence?" "Yes," Reeves said simply. Then she nodded to someone off-screen. Suddenly, every Earth ship activated their new shields. Technology that shouldn't exist yet. The shields glowed with a distinctive blue energy pattern, identical to the Dominion shields. Krell stood up, his calm facade breaking. "Where did you get that technology? It's not possible." Wright watched from the Dominion, tension building. "Get ready," he told his crew. "This is the moment of truth." On screen, Reeves spoke again. "The U.S. frontier didn't disappear, Ambassador. It found something. Evidence of your true intentions. We know about the future war. We know what the hegemony plans to do to Earth and its colonies." Krell's face showed anger now. "You know nothing. Humans cannot be allowed to spread throughout the galaxy. Your kind is dangerous, aggressive. In time, you would dominate all other species." "There it is," Wright said. "The truth." He nodded to Carter, who pressed a button. Suddenly, the Dominion moved out from behind Phobos, fully visible to both fleets. "Now, Russell," Wright ordered. Lieutenant Russell activated a special broadcast, sending the Dominion's database records to every ship and station in the solar system. Images of destroyed human colonies, records of the hegemony's surprise attacks, evidence of their long-planned deception. Krell's ships immediately began moving into attack formation. "They're preparing to fire on Earth's fleet," Miller reported. Wright made his decision. "Target their weapons only. Disable, don't destroy." The Dominion fired precise beams at each of Krell's warships, disabling their weapon systems in seconds. The Earth fleet moved forward, surrounding the alien vessels. Reeves' voice came through clearly. "It's over. Ambassador, your plan has failed." On Earth and throughout the solar system, people watched as Krell's deception was exposed. The alien ambassador looked at the cameras one last time. "This isn't over," he said coldly. "The hegemony is vast. We will return." "Perhaps," Wright said quietly, though only his crew could hear him. "But when you do, we'll be ready." As Krell's damaged ships retreated from the solar system, Wright looked at his crew. They had changed history. The future war might still come, but humanity would no longer be caught by surprise. The Dominion had served its purpose, not as a weapon of total domination, but as a warning that had given humanity a fighting chance.